Hey everyone, I want to talk about decluttering as mindset work. So, decluttering is not just about moving one thing from your space to somewhere else, either a different part of your space or outside of your space. For many, many years, I felt that that's really what decluttering was. That's what it was about: rearranging things in my space. It was about moving things in and out of my space. It was about the things. But decluttering at the much deeper level is about our mindset. It is about our inner work. If you're new here, I'm Michele Tracy Berger. I'm a scholar and an award-winning creative writer, and I have been making several videos about decluttering and the decluttering process and creative people. And I will be happy to share my offer toward the end of this video. I'm doing a declutter challenge that's not like anything else that is out there, that's fun and manageable. So what I want to say though, for so long, I just thought the decluttering process was moving things around. And that really did not get into some of the deeper reasons why I had clutter or had clutter in particular areas of my life and clutter around certain kinds of things. And when I began to realize that it's about mindset, and mindset really is kind of the set of beliefs that we have that are kind of operational for us, that influence how we think, feel about the world, right? So mindset is that sense of how do we perceive the world and how do we kind of make decisions based on how we perceive the world. And what I think decluttering, what we want to get to is having a more growth mindset as opposed to a fixed mindset. So we don't want to think of ourselves as someone like, oh, I can't do this work. I can never do this work. I'm not good at this. We want to build a robust inner mindset. We want to understand why we're having challenges with clutter. And then we also want to have a growth mindset. So understanding that we can change and grow over time. And my journey with clutter and has also been part of my journey around creativity and really understanding that as a creative person, dealing with physical clutter can be magnified in the context of we often as creative people have to deal with inner turmoil, inner emotional clutter, inner critics, issues of perfectionism, procrastination. So that's why I say that decluttering is about, kind of transforming that inner landscape and how that once we do that, that can also help our own creative processes to flow. So let me give you a couple of examples. One of them, we might say, let's think about something that is in your environment and that you would like to declutter. Let's take a pair of jeans. So let's say you have a pair of jeans, you look at them, you think in your closet, they don't fit me anymore, they don't suit me anymore, I don't like the style, I'm going to give them away, right? So let's say you put them aside. Then let's say you go to the mall or a boutique and you get a new pair of jeans with the idea of like, you're going to get rid of the old pair of jeans, right? So you bring the new pair of jeans to your house. And then what happens for many, many people is that they don't take that next step to declutter that item. They hold on to that older pair of jeans. And why? And this is where we get into the mindset work. Why is that? It might be because there's just this underlying notion of scarcity. Like, oh, well, I might need this if I gain weight or I lose weight, or if the style changes, I should probably hold on to it, right? And this is what I call the area of backups. So one of the challenges around decluttering, if we have issue around really scarcity thinking and scarcity mindset, that we tend to then, as we start to declutter and also bring in new items into our environment, we hold on to those backups because the backups, as I call them, give us a sense of safety, right? They give us a sense of like, okay, if something goes wrong, catastrophe in the landscape of jeans or clothing, I have this, right? But if we go just a layer deeper, that usually tends to reflect some level of scarcity, belief, feeling, um, concern about the future. So learning that we can, when we take the step to let go of those backups, I really want you to think about how that might be manifesting for you, to know that it's safe to let that go. So replace the new thing and let the old backup go. And I guarantee you, if you look around your house, you'll have some of those. For most of us, we have something, and they reflect, again, some of those deeper issues that we have to work on with our mindset. Another thing I think is helpful when we think about mindset work and decluttering, that is not just about the things, is this idea of irritants. So in my declutter challenge for creative people, part of the preparatory work is I ask people to look in their environment and think about what are the things that are visually irritating, in that every time you look at them, you think, oh, that piece of jewelry needs to be fixed. Oh, those shoes need to be taken to the cobbler. Oh, I need to do X, Y, and Z, right? So they have been sitting in your environment for a long time. So yes, it is partly about that thing that's sitting there that you need to take the next step with. But I would say one level deeper, when we have a lot of irritants, it really is about self-care. When you think about it, why haven't we devoted the time and the space to, if we want that item, to take the next step for that item? And self-care and our relationship to self-care is all about inner mindset work. It's all about our sense of self-worth. So if we always feel like we're living in a time famine, time scarcity, then those irritants, those physical items, can manifest in our environment. And we tell ourselves over and over again that we don't have the time to do it. But really, what are we saying then? What are we saying about ourselves? What are we saying about the priority for ourselves? And I think that's part of that really important piece, that when we think about, decluttering not as just things, but as this like inner mindset work. And then finally, when we think about perfectionism, so sometimes when we approach decluttering and we're thinking just about this moving things around, we think, oh, I have to make it look perfect, right? I have to make it look like an Instagrammable account, or I have to make it look like the person who, is someone that I see on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. I have to make my space look like someone else. And the deeper mindset work there is, if perfectionism is showing up in how you declutter, and usually that's a barrier for people. They have this idea that things have to be perfect. Then that's probably showing up for you, especially as a creative person. And perfectionism is wrapped up in comparisonitis, or comparing ourselves to other people. It's a sense of also self-worth, our sense of, we're only worthy and deserving if we can do everything perfectly and never get into trouble, right? So perfectionism, just as a feature of that inner landscape, is a big part of the mindset work that we have to do. So, think about what's in your environment. Think about those backups you might have, irritants, and if perfectionism is something that you need to pay attention to, and begin to think about that, the next, asking yourself questions that take you a level deeper than just, I'm moving some stuff around, in terms of decluttering. So I have this amazing declutter challenge for creative people. It is going, you can find all that information below. It's a fun, manageable process. It is feng shui inspired, and feng shui is the Chinese philosophy and art of placement. And if you have about 20 minutes to an hour a day, this is the great declutter challenge for you. And it's a self-paced course. If you sign up soon, you'll get to do a live Zoom with me, and also some other bonuses. So I hope that you consider that and really think about what's preventing you from taking the next step in the process of decluttering, and really taking control of your own sense of agency and mindset.